political shift. Nepalese Prime Minister KP Oli resigned yesterday along with his entire cabinet. In the last 24 hours, Nepal Army has taken control. It has appealed to the people and Gen Z protesters to reclaim calm, maintain peace and protect private and government property. They have urged citizens to return any guns, weapons or bullets that were looted or found during the agitation. There were 27 individuals that were involved in looting, arson and other violent acts that have been arrested by the army. Stranded foreign nationals have been urged to make contacts to the nearest security agency or deployed personnel for assistance. Meanwhile, Kathmandu's international airport is set to resume operations a day after being shut down due to the protests. We have witnessed significant protests in Colombo in 2022, in Dhaka in 2024, both that were driven by the youth against government corruption. The protests resulted in their respective prime ministers resigning and fleeing shortly after. In this case too, the Nepalese Prime Minister KP Oli tendered his resignation within 36 hours of the protests. The question is, what will happen next in Nepal and how impactful is this regime going to be vis-a-vis Nepal and India relations? Let's start our conversation. I have with me Ambassador S.D. Muni. Ambassador Muni, let's understand from you about this unrest that seems to be quite frequently witnessed in the Indian subcontinent. In fact, the CJI of the country, CJI Gawai, also made a statement just a few hours ago. He said, amidst the turmoil and uncertainty and ambiguity of the governments installed in the countries in the subcontinent, India arises as an exception, a shining example of a vibrant democracy. Why do you think these protests are festering the very essence and the political structure of countries, first in Sri Lanka, we saw in Bangladesh, we've seen this now in Nepal?
Well, I think there are two factors which you should keep it in mind. We should all keep it in mind. One is the domestic context of all these countries. And the second one is the external one. The domestic context is that the governments have not been able to respond to the aspirations and expectations of people in general. This is what it is everywhere else, and the violations or what you call shortcomings on the part of the government are on various fronts: economic front, economic opportunities, employment for the youth, education system, and to some extent even curbing the freedom of expression, which has happened in Bangladesh, which happened in Sri Lanka. The way Rajapaksa regime was behaving, well, there are similar kind of complaints in case of Nepal, and of course Pakistan, we all know about it. So you have this pattern of internal economic lack of performance, not proper governance as it is, and on the above all that, restraining freedom of expression and all that. These are all domestic reasons, and therefore the roots of all these uprisings actually lie in the domestic system, which we should not forget. But at the same time, what has happened is that the subcontinent is caught in two sort of rivalries or competitions in the geopolitical context. One is between China and the US. The other is also, whether you like it or not, between India and China. And most of India's neighbors are all caught between these two competitions, these two rivalries. And as a result of it, it is amazing that in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, and now in Nepal, the governments which have been thrown out were known as being pro-China, all the three cases. And in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, there were quite reliable evidence of involvement of US stakes and US interests. In Sri Lanka, in fact, the American ambassador was quite active. She was seen at the time of revolt when Rajapakshas were thrown out, and then she even visited the JVP office and all that. In Bangladesh, again, there were several reports which indicated that the US was not happy with Hasina. She had denied strategic access to them on some of the cases, and that was one of the trigger which really took place. Now, in Nepal also, Oli's government was known as being pro-China. And therefore, there is a certain pattern. I am not giving you an evidence. I'm just telling you, drawing the map as it has happened in South Asia. Now, Pakistan is an exception because everybody knows that Pakistan is quite close to China. And I think that is the reason the US doesn't want to drop Pakistan away, no matter what the conditions are. Forget about the issue of terrorism, forget about the issue of economic crisis in Pakistan, forget about the lack of democracy, the way Imran Khan has been treated there. All that is ignored, and somehow Pakistan is being tolerated for its very strategic location, and also despite the fact that it has very cozy relationship with China. So I think these
Yeah.
are the two aspects. So one can go into details, but let me stop here to begin with. We'll come back again if need to.
Okay, all right. Professor Madhav Nalapat is also on the telecast with me. Professor Nalapat, taking forward this conversation,